The vast emptiness of space stretched before the reconnaissance vessel, its metallic hull gleaming under distant starlight. Captain J1 leaned forward, his eyes fixed on the approaching blue-green planet that seemed both ordinary and peculiar. Earth looked peaceful from orbit. Green landmasses, swirling white clouds, and vast blue oceans created a deceptively calm image. The ship's advanced scanning systems began mapping the planet's surface, collecting data with rapid precision. Sungmin, the first officer, carefully analyzed the incoming information. Something felt different about this world. The communication signals were complex, layered with multiple frequencies and encrypted patterns that didn't match their expectations of a supposedly primitive civilization. "Captain," Sungmin called out, his voice tinged with uncertainty. "These transmission patterns are unusual." J1 adjusted the scanning resolution. Thousands of electromagnetic signals crisscrossed the planet's surface. Some were simple, radio waves. Others were complex digital transmissions that seemed to dance between satellites and ground stations with incredible speed. Their initial mission was straightforward: survey the planet, assess its technological capabilities, and determine whether it was a potential candidate for resource extraction or colonization. But something about Earth felt different. The first anomaly appeared when their primary scanning beam attempted to penetrate the planet's communication networks. Instead of a simple, linear response, the systems responded with multiple layered signals, almost as if the planet's technology was actively resisting their probing. Massive structures dotted the landscapes, cities that seemed to pulse with energy, transportation networks that connected vast regions with intricate precision. Machines moved across continents carrying materials, people, and information at speeds that surprised the observation team. Sungmin enhanced one of the visual feeds. A massive metal structure caught his attention, something the preliminary reports called a data center. Thousands of interconnected machines worked in perfect harmony, processing billions of pieces of information every second. "These aren't primitive communication systems," Sungmin muttered, more to himself than to the captain. Jaewon watched the screens carefully. Each passing moment revealed more complexity. Satellites orbited the planet, creating a technological web that seemed almost organic in its design. Military installations, communication networks, and research facilities were interconnected in ways that defied their standard classification models. The planet's inhabitants, humans, seemed to exist in a constant state of technological evolution. Their devices were getting smaller, faster, more efficient. What appeared simple on the surface concealed layers of incredible technological sophistication. A sudden burst of digital communication caught their attention. Multiple frequencies simultaneously transmitted complex data packets. It was like watching a living, breathing technological ecosystem that adapted and responded in real time. "We might have underestimated this planet," Jaewon said quietly, his previous confidence now replaced with a growing sense of caution. Sungmin adjusted the scanning parameters, trying to get more precise readings. Each attempt seemed to be met with subtle resistance. The planet's technological systems weren't just receiving, they were actively responding, almost as if they were aware of being observed. The ship's computer began generating preliminary reports. Technological development, curves, communication complexity indexes, and potential threat assessments started filling the screens. But the numbers seemed to shift and change, defying standard predictive models. As the reconnaissance vessel continued its silent orbit, the crew realized something profound. This wasn't just another routine survey. Earth was different. Its inhabitants possessed a technological adaptability that made traditional assessment methods obsolete. Jaewon looked at Sungmin, a mix of professional curiosity and growing unease in his eyes. "We need more data," he said simply. Little did they know, their observation had already been noticed. Deep within the planet's complex communication networks, systems were already analyzing, processing, and preparing responses to this unexpected visitor. The first encounter was about to become much more complicated than anyone could have predicted. The first military engagement happened quickly and unexpectedly. The alien invasion force selected a remote location in the Nevada desert, believing it would minimize potential resistance. They deployed advanced energy weapons, gravitational, disruptors, and molecular destabilization technology, equipment that had conquered hundreds of planetary systems before. Commander Hyun-woo watched through advanced holographic displays as landing pods descended. Each pod contained 20 elite combat units, equipped with technology generations ahead of human weaponry. Their metallic exoskeletons reflected sunlight, creating an intimidating silhouette against the sandy landscape. Initial satellite tracking showed standard invasion protocols. The alien force spread systematically, creating tactical formation grids designed to neutralize potential resistance zones. Their strategy was mathematically precise: divide territories, disable communication networks, and establish quick territorial control. What they didn't understand was human unpredictability. The first human response came not through military channels but through technological disruption. Complex computer algorithms began attacking alien communication frequencies. Within minutes, their encrypted channels were compromised. Tactical maps became scrambled, and coordination systems started failing. Military bases that seemed quiet suddenly hummed with unexpected activity. Experimental weapon systems, some barely tested, were rapidly brought online. Drones that looked obsolete were quickly modified with cutting-edge electronic warfare capabilities. The aliens' first shock came when their advanced energy shields began malfunctioning. Something was interfering with their protective technologies, not through direct confrontation, but through sophisticated digital manipulation. Signal frequencies were being twisted. Quantum encryption codes were being decoded in real time. Ground units discovered their advanced sensors were being fed false information. Terrain maps changed unexpectedly. Movement tracking became unreliable. It was as if the entire landscape was actively resisting their invasion. Military jets scrambled from hidden bases, using unconventional flight patterns that defied standard tracking algorithms. Stealth technologies, developed over decades, made their approach almost invisible. Missile systems, which seemed outdated by alien standards, were rapidly upgraded with adaptive targeting mechanisms. Commander Hyun-woo realized something was fundamentally wrong with their invasion plan. Humans weren't responding like other conquered civilizations. They weren't panicking. They weren't running. Instead, they were systematically dismantling the invasion infrastructure. Electronic warfare teams worked with unprecedented speed. They weren't just defending. They were actively hunting alien communication nodes. Each disabled system became a learning opportunity, each captured piece of technology a potential weapon. The alien command structure began to panic. Their perfectly calculated invasion plan was falling apart faster than anyone could have predicted. Tactical units found themselves isolated, communication networks collapsed, and their advanced technologies were being turned against them. Special Forces units discovered something even more terrifying. Humans were rapidly studying and understanding alien technology. What would typically take decades of research was being comprehended in hours. Captured equipment was being reverse-engineered with remarkable efficiency. By the second day of the invasion, the alien force realized they weren't fighting a primitive civilization. They were battling an adaptive, intelligent species that viewed technological conflict as a complex, rapidly evolving chess match. Experimental weapon systems emerged from hidden facilities. Laser technologies that seemed theoretical were suddenly operational. Quantum communication networks transformed military coordination into something almost organic in its responsiveness. The Nevada desert, once chosen for its perceived isolation, became a technological battlefield unlike anything in galactic military history. Humans weren't just defending, they were systematically dismantling an technologically superior invasion force. Commander Hyun-woo watched in growing horror as his invasion plan collapsed. The mathematical certainty of conquest was replaced by a growing realization. They had severely underestimated humanity. As communication systems continued to fail, and tactical units became increasingly isolated, one fundamental truth became clear: This invasion was not going according to plan. Humanity was not just resisting, they were transforming the very nature of conflict itself. The misunderstanding was complete. What was supposed to be a simple planetary conquest had become something entirely unexpected. A fight for survival against a species that refused to be conquered. Dr. Yunji stood in the underground research facility, her eyes fixed on the captured alien technology. Massive metal fragments and complex electronic systems lay scattered across reinforced examination tables. The room buzzed with an electric tension of scientific excitement and national urgency. Surrounding her, a team of the world's best engineers, physicists, and technical experts worked with laser-focused concentration. Each piece of alien equipment was being systematically dismantled, analyzed, and understood. What made humans unique wasn't just their ability to observe, it was their capacity to adapt and transform. Within hours of capturing alien technology, they were already identifying potential applications. Quantum communication systems that seemed impossibly complex were being rapidly decoded. A young engineer named Jay Park held a small metallic component, rotating it carefully under high-resolution scanning equipment. His fingers moved quickly across digital interfaces, mapping its molecular structure. Where other species would require decades of research, humans were making breakthrough discoveries in days. The alien technology revealed incredible secrets. Energy generation systems that defied current human understanding were being reverse-engineered. Quantum entanglement communication technologies that seemed like science fiction were being transformed into practical applications. Military research teams worked simultaneously on multiple fronts. Some focused on defensive capabilities, others on potential weapon systems. Each captured piece of equipment was a puzzle waiting to be solved, a technological treasure that could revolutionize human understanding. Massive computer systems processed millions of data points every second. Advanced AI algorithms worked alongside human researchers, analyzing complex technological patterns. The boundary between human intelligence and machine learning became increasingly blurred. Dr. Yunji noticed something extraordinary. The alien technology wasn't just advanced. It had inherent design weaknesses that humans could exploit. Their technological systems, while complex, had predictable architectural patterns that could be systematically disrupted. Research facilities across different countries began sharing information at unprecedented speeds. What was once a competitive, scientific landscape transformed into a collaborative global effort. Researchers worked around the clock, fueled by a combination of scientific curiosity and national defense strategies. Unexpected breakthroughs emerged quickly. Energy generation technologies that could solve global power challenges were being developed. Communication systems that could revolutionize global connectivity were being created from alien technological fragments. The military was particularly interested in adaptive technologies. Alien defensive systems were being studied to develop new types of electronic warfare capabilities. Each captured system became a learning opportunity, each technological fragment a potential game-changing discovery. Quantum computing took massive leaps forward. Technologies that seemed decades away were suddenly becoming possible. The alien invasion had inadvertently provided humans with technological insights that would have taken centuries to develop naturally. Satellite communication. Networks began incorporating alien technological principles. Data transmission speeds increased exponentially. Complex encryption methods were being developed that could make current cybersecurity systems look primitive. Dr. Yunji realized they were witnessing something unprecedented in human history. This wasn't just technological adaptation, it was a fundamental transformation of human technological capabilities. The alien invasion was becoming the most significant scientific opportunity in human history. Research teams worked in shifts, maintaining constant momentum. Young scientists worked alongside veterans, their collective knowledge creating a powerful, technological synthesis. The traditional boundaries of scientific disciplines began to dissolve. Experimental laboratories transformed captured alien equipment into prototype human systems. What seemed like science fiction just weeks ago was becoming practical reality. The technological shock was complete. Humans were not just defending, they were evolving. As complex machine systems hummed and digital interfaces flickered with unprecedented activity, one thing became clear. The alien invasion had made a critical mistake. By bringing advanced technology to Earth, they had provided humans with the ultimate evolutionary opportunity. The psychological warfare began subtly, almost imperceptibly. Tactical Commander Ji-hoon understood something fundamental about human strategy. True victory wasn't about destroying an enemy, but breaking their spirit. Alien communication networks became the primary battlefield. Instead of direct confrontation, humans started manipulating information streams. False transmissions, carefully crafted digital signals, and strategically planted misinformation created confusion within the alien command structure. Strategic teams worked in hidden facilities, creating intricate psychological manipulation programs. They studied alien communication patterns, understanding their emotional and cognitive processing systems. Each transmission was carefully designed to introduce doubt, uncertainty, and fear. Disinformation campaigns targeted specific alien command frequencies. Complex algorithms generated communication streams that seemed perfectly authentic, but contained subtle psychological triggers. These signals attacked the aliens' fundamental understanding of their invasion strategy. The first signs of psychological breakdown appeared quickly. Alien units began experiencing communication disruptions. Their tactical systems received conflicting information. Strategic maps became unreliable. Trust within their command structure started crumbling. Human psychological warfare experts understood something profound. Information could be more destructive than any weapon. They created narrative streams that played on alien psychological vulnerabilities. Each transmission was designed to introduce systematic doubt. Holographic technologies were used to create false battle scenarios. Alien units received visual information, showing impossible combat situations, phantom military movements, and strategically constructed defeat narratives. Their technological systems couldn't distinguish between reality and manipulation. Communication intercepts revealed growing alien uncertainty. Their mathematical invasion protocols couldn't process the level of psychological complexity humans were introducing. Traditional conquest strategies became obsolete against an enemy that understood psychological manipulation at a fundamental level. Experimental sound frequencies were transmitted across alien communication channels. These signals contained carefully constructed audio patterns designed to introduce cognitive dissonance. Alien units started experiencing unexplained psychological stress. Military intelligence teams worked around the clock, analyzing alien psychological response patterns. Each interaction became a learning opportunity. They weren't just defending, they were systematically destroying the alien invasion's psychological infrastructure. Technological systems became weapons of psychological destruction. Captured alien communication equipment was modified to broadcast carefully designed psychological disruption signals. Their own technologies were being turned against them with surgical precision. Commander Ji-hoon watched digital interfaces showing the progressive psychological breakdown. Alien units were becoming increasingly isolated, their communication networks transforming into zones of absolute uncertainty. Mathematical invasion strategies were collapsing under human psychological warfare. Sophisticated AI systems generated millions of communication scenarios every minute. Each scenario was designed to introduce progressive psychological destabilization. The aliens found themselves fighting an enemy that understood their psychological vulnerabilities better than they understood themselves. Intercepted alien communications revealed growing panic. Their invasion strategy, built on mathematical certainty, was being systematically dismantled by an approach that defied conventional warfare understanding. Humans weren't just resisting, they were psychologically destroying the invasion infrastructure. Global communication networks became sophisticated. Psychological warfare platforms. Different research teams collaborated, sharing insights and developing increasingly complex psychological manipulation strategies. The entire planet was transforming into a unified psychological warfare machine. Alien command structures started experiencing internal conflicts. Trust mechanisms collapsed. Strategic coordination became impossible. Each transmitted signal introduced more uncertainty, more doubt, more psychological fragmentation. The psychological warfare wasn't just about defeating an enemy. It was about demonstrating a fundamental truth. Human adaptability, creativity, and psychological complexity were weapons far more powerful than any technological system. Commander Ji-hoon understood they were writing a new chapter in warfare, history. Psychological manipulation had become the most sophisticated weapon humanity could deploy. The aliens had invaded expecting a traditional conflict. Instead, they found themselves trapped in a psychological nightmare they couldn't comprehend. The invasion was collapsing from within, defeated not by weapons, but by the most powerful human capability: the ability to understand, manipulate, and ultimately transform psychological reality. Captain Jae-won's hands trembled as he recorded the final transmission. The massive alien mothership hung in orbit, surrounded by disabled support vessels. What had begun as a confident invasion now looked like a devastating defeat. Communication. Logs revealed the complete breakdown of their invasion strategy. Tactical units were isolated, communication networks destroyed, and technological systems compromised. Humanity had done more than defend. They had systematically dismantled an entire invasion force. The ship's central computer displayed horrifying statistics. Invasion success probability had dropped from 99.8% to less than 0.01% in just days. No planetary civilization had ever mounted such a comprehensive defense. Humans weren't just fighting, they were evolving in real time. Tactical analysis teams worked frantically trying to understand what had happened. Each attempt to comprehend human strategy failed. The humans had transformed warfare into something beyond mathematical calculation. They fought with creativity, adaptability, and psychological complexity that defied all known invasion protocols. Recovered transmission fragments told a terrifying story. Human technological adaptation happened at speeds previously thought impossible. Captured alien equipment was being reverse-engineered within hours. Communication systems were being transformed. Weapon technologies reimagined. The psychological warfare had been particularly devastating. Alien units found themselves trapped in a reality where nothing could be trusted. Communication channels became zones of absolute uncertainty. Mathematical certainty collapsed into complete existential confusion. Jae-won remembered the initial survey reports. Earth had seemed so ordinary, a blue-green planet with primitive technological systems. Now they understood the terrible truth. Humanity wasn't just a civilization. They were a force of unprecedented adaptive potential. Military coordination completely broke down. Invasion units became isolated. Their communication networks transformed into zones of psychological destruction. Each attempt to re-establish control failed. Humans had turned the entire planetary surface into a complex adaptive battlefield. The mothership's command center became increasingly silent. Veteran commanders who had conquered hundreds of planetary systems now sat in shocked silence. Their invasion strategy, perfect in mathematical calculation, had become a complete disaster. Technological systems that had conquered entire star systems became useless against human adaptability. Weapon technologies were rapidly neutralized. Communication networks were systematically destroyed. The humans had transformed defense into an art form of technological evolution. Psychological breakdown spread through the alien fleet. Units experienced complete communication isolation. Strategic coordination became impossible. Each transmission introduced more uncertainty, more doubt about the invasion's potential success. Jae-won's final log entry was both a warning and an acknowledgement of human potential. "We encountered a civilization unlike anything in galactic records," he recorded. "Humanity is not a planetary civilization to be conquered. They are a dynamic, adaptive species that transforms conflict itself." The retreat began systematically. Damaged vessels gathered, communication systems minimally functional. What was supposed to be a simple planetary conquest had become a complete existential nightmare. Humanity had demonstrated a level of evolutionary potential that challenged everything they understood about intelligent life. As the alien fleet prepared to leave Earth's orbit, a sense of profound understanding settled over the commanders. They had not just failed an invasion. They had encountered a species that represented something fundamentally different. A civilization capable of transforming technological and psychological reality itself. Massive propulsion systems activated. The fleet began its retreat, carrying with them a terrible understanding. Some species are better left undisturbed. Humanity had shown they were not just survivors. They were evolutionary wildcards that could transform any conflict into an opportunity for growth. The blue-green planet continued its silent orbit, giving no indication of the massive conflict that had just occurred. Humanity returned to its daily activities, most people unaware of how close they had come to planetary conquest, and how completely they had transformed that potential defeat into an unprecedented victory.